Okay.
I'm ready. It's coffee's
Fucking making it go crazy.
Need some crack. Welcome back to Morning Wood. As always, I'm Jason, and I am always here with this guy. His name's Matt. We are dumb. We are idiots. We talk about sports. We do it 2 times a week. We appreciate you guys watching. If you're new, why don't you just subscribe? Hit that subscribe button down below. It's somewhere. Might be on the screen at some point. Hit that button. It's free. Completely free. Also, you know what else is free? Hitting the like button. That's also free. You know what else is free? Comment something. Anything. Just say a word. Say one. Comment a period. I don't care. Just say something. Please. We appreciate you. But I'm starting, as always, as I do, top of the morning news. Kind of short today. Not a lot going on. We'll break down a lot of the NFL games, but the news. Dak Prescott had season-ending surgery on his hamstring. He's probably forcing the doctor to perform that surgery so he doesn't have to play football for the rest of the season. He's like, just cut me open, Doc. I cannot play quarterback for the Cowboys anymore.
That's terrible.
Facts, though.
It's true.
And then the Bears offensive coordinator, Shane Waldron, was fired today. Don't know if that was the answer for the Bears. Don't know what the answer is for the Bears. I don't think it was the right move. It's not because of the play calling. It's because of the quarterback. It's because of the offensive line. But what do I know? I'm just an idiot talking on the internet. They're professionals. They get paid to do it. Who knows? But that is the top of the morning news. Kept it short. I'll pass it off to you.
Short and sweet and to the point.
Yes.
Dak Prescott sucks, and the Bears, Let's move on. Let's talk about, or let's get into the best segment that we have on this show and any program ever. The Antonio Brown tweet of the day. Roll on the clip.
Antonio Brown.
Go on social media, man. This is about us. Nobody else, man.
As always. Today I'm keeping it, we'll say normal for Antonio Brown. A little positive here, okay?
Positivity.
Yesterday, Veterans Day, he tweets out a picture when he was on My Steelers. He tweets out a picture with 3 veterans. Says, to all the veterans out there, thank you for your service and sacrifice. We appreciate you. Much love and respect, AB. Hashtag CTESPN. There were plenty of other funny ones to choose from, but I felt like it was a right choice for this one. AB keeping it respectful.
I wonder if he actually made CT ESPN an actual company. He probably legally that's probably a company.
It is, yeah, because he has merchandise and everything.
It's crazy.
A logo. I mean, it's a thing. It's a real thing. I think Tua will be probably on there after he retires, to be honest.
He might be.
That's my tweet of the day. As always, follow Antonio Brown. Great stuff from him. Hopefully we get more football content from him coming here after the election. He was a big ambassador. Probably the reason that we won the swing states in those departments for the Republican Party. I give all the credit to Antonio Brown. He's amazing. Let's move on. Let's talk about football because that's what we do. We talk about football. Let's recap the NFL Week 10. Let's talk about some football if you want to start us off.
Yeah, Thursday night. This game feels like it happened a year ago. I was actually at the game. The Ravens played the Bengals on Thursday night. They hold off the Bengals in a crazy game, which I watched from the stands. 2-0 against the Bengals. We won by a total of, 4 points? Roller coaster of a game. Lamar throws for another 4 touchdowns. He has 26 total touchdowns, 2 interceptions on the season. That's pretty good. Burrow also had an insane day, threw for 4 touchdowns. Jamar Chase did literally whatever he wanted against the Ravens secondary. And the game comes down to a 2-point conversion at the end. Huge stop for the Ravens. Couple controversial no calls, whatever. We got the win. Huge win, obviously, coming into the week because it's Steelers week this week.
It is Steelers week.
It's Steelers week for the boys.
I'm excited for that one. Yeah, that game was awesome. I feel like every Bengals-Ravens matchup is now going to be must-watch. At least as long as they have those 2 quarterbacks, I will be watching.
Agreed.
No matter what. Moving on, let's talk about the Giants. They have they made the worst decision in NFL history? I think it's got to be up there, right? Daniel Jones is a criminal. I looked this up. Me and the stat guy we have here, we looked it up. So the highest sentencing that I found for stealing money was like, I think this lady stole like $15 million or something. She got life in prison. Daniel Jones' signing bonus alone is it's $36 million. That's not including the money he's going to be making like paycheck to paycheck for each of these games. So my diagnosis of the situation is that he should have life in prison, and he's a criminal. The reason is since his contract, he's 3-13. Okay, that's his record. He has 2,979 yards. That's 186 yards per game. Like he's quarterback for Nebraska or Wisconsin. He has 10 touchdowns and 13 interceptions. Not great. Looks like Eli Manning numbers, which is fitting for the Giants. 64.7 completion percentage and a 76.6 passer rating. That's terrible. He's a criminal.
Pretty good.
And he should be locked up for life. They fall. They lose.
Giants is the Giants.
This is the most Giants thing ever. They gave this man $100 and some odd million, and he's 3-13 since that day. Like NFL games wise, that's not great. That's all I have for that game because I didn't really watch it.
Yeah.
I know that they fumbled late in the game, which caused the Panthers, I think, to win that game.
In overtime.
Yeah, overtime. Yeah, they didn't have a chance, but I mean, I need to know like in what bright mind did they think that giving that man that money was? Unbelievable, unexcusable. If I was a Giants fan, I'd pick a new team until he's not the quarterback.
Let's go to the Jets, I guess, but it doesn't get any better if you're in New York.
No, you can't. No.
Go to Buffalo. That's the only team that actually plays in New York. Just be a Bills fan.
Yeah, and they're good.
And they are good.
And their quarterbacks deserve their money, actually.
Yes. Let's move on to the Colts. They stink.
They do stink.
They stink. Joe Flacco's not playing great ball. He had 3 interceptions. One was a pick 6. To be fair, he doesn't have a whole lot to work with as far as weapons. I mean, Jonathan Taylor had a good day on the ground, which was the only thing that went well for the Colts. Josh Allen had a pretty underwhelming day. Doesn't throw a touchdown. Had 2 interceptions. Does run one in for a touchdown. But the Bills win. And they head into a massive matchup this week against the Chiefs. 8-2 versus
9-0.
And 9-0, yeah. So that's a big game. Colts suck. The Bills win. That's pretty much how that game went down.
It's interesting looking at like the decision on Anthony Richardson and benching him for the year, and how that fan base is going to play out with that if they don't win and Flacco doesn't play well. I still think they have the best shot with Flacco. Personally,
I don't think
but
it goes any better with Anthony Richardson in this game. Honestly, like it is. What it is.
We'll see. We'll see how that looks moving forward. Let's move on to another team that looks like they stink, but they win because the Jags didn't have their starting quarterback. The Vikings. Yeah. Is it panic button? I know they won, but Lord.
Darnold does not look good right now.
He does not. Speaking of Darnold, his last 5 games, okay? 68.4 completion percentage, not great. 6 touchdowns to 7 interceptions, also not great. They're 3-2 in those games, but only one of those games is not decided by one possession. So they could easily be like 1-4 in those games. On Sunday he had 2 red zone INTs. The one that was a slant route that was tipped that I saw, again, kind of one of those where it's like a bang play. It's not really on the quarterback, but the 2 in the red zone, I get you're trying to get the ball to the best receiver in the league. I respect that, but not good decision-making in the red zone. I think if Lawrence plays that game, the Jags win it. I mean, there's no reason for me to believe not to. Again, 5 trips to the red zone. You get 3 field goals and 2 iron interceptions. That's not good. I think just like that's the problem with the Vikings obviously coming into this season. Like how he played the first, we'll say 4 or 5 games above everybody's expectation. Everybody was shocked about it. I was on board, shocked as well. But the last 5, he's, kind of come down to back to earth a little bit.
They got tape on him now.
They got tape on him. They still have good players. Obviously, they have a good running back, good receiving core. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's a little bit of like a slump in these couple of games. We'll see. But I know they have some big division games still coming up. I know they still have to play the Lions. I think the Packers in this stretch as well one more time. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about the Vikings. They did win, but they beat Mac Jones 12-7. Like,
Yeah,
I don't
it's a
know.
win. I guess
It's a win, but
It's a win in the NFL.
I didn't like it.
I didn't like it either. It was pretty bad.
Your favorite team?
I'll move on to the Chiefs. They won on a blocked chip shot field goal because, of course, they win on a blocked chip shot field goal. Why wouldn't they? This team just keeps winning. The Broncos actually look good. They obviously they should have won that game, had a chance to win. Chip shot field goal. They probably stormed the field, but they don't. The Broncos lose to the Chiefs because they're the Chiefs, and I say it every week. It's okay because they're gonna get used to winning in these crazy ways, and they're gonna lose in the playoffs. And America will have a party when the Chiefs lose in the playoffs. It's gonna be amazing.
They really will. Yeah, believe it or not, the reason that the Broncos even had a chance and should have won this game is because on a third down in the red zone, Travis Kelce is wide open in the back of the end zone, and Pat Mahomes throws it into the third row in that game, late in that game. They should have gone up 7.
Playing quarterback, that's why.
He's been so bad this year. Like, and it's not even, I don't even think it's play calling, because the games that I've watched of the Chiefs, when they played you guys and the other games that I've seen, the play calling is still really good, because obviously I expect nothing less from Andy Reid. And they still have some playmakers. Obviously, they've had question marks at receiver and some guys injured. But in Andy Reid's scheme, it's kind of plug and play, really. You don't need, the top guys at all. Plus, obviously, in the last 4 years, Pat Mahomes has been playing well enough and really good to not have to deal with that. But this year, he's playing really bad. That one play he missed, Travis Kelce's wide open, like in the back. It wasn't like some tight window. It wasn't like he needed to force the ball. Yeah. I mean, he's just wide open, like losing his mind in the back of the end zone. And I mean, he threw it to a fan. He thought he scored already, I guess. He thought it was Cam Newton. But, yeah, I don't know. Unfortunately for the Broncos, it was a big division game on the road. They looked really good. They should have won. I think it was on the road. In Kansas City. So, yeah.
I like the way Bo Nix looks as a rookie. I think other than
he's got
Jaden Daniels, like he's playing pretty well.
He's got that dog in him.
I mean, he does have a lot of experience playing.
He's like 30, right?
Of course. Yeah, I think he's like 2 months older than Lamar, and he's been in the league for 5 years.
That's crazy.
It's insane.
That's crazy.
But yeah. So,
I mean, congrats to the Chiefs. I guess they're 9-0. But there is 3 phases of the game, and one of them is special teams. And that dude blocking those 2 guys, he needs to go somewhere.
I don't know. It's one play. Like, do your job for 1 second.
There was like 4 other guys that got through, so even if the dude who blocked it didn't block it, I think there was like 3 others.
Like, I think like they just, I don't know. The Broncos were like, they were like told to like just stop playing football Like,
okay, let's move on before we get into conspiracy.
They weren't controlling their own bodies. They had like injection inside of them. They're just like not block. Taylor Swift fucking hooked over their body. I don't know, dude.
She put a magic spell on them
some
from the
voodoo shit.
She's got a pot of witch's brew up there.
I don't know what's that.
Let's move on to my other favorite, one of my favorite teams. I love when I pick them and they continue to lose They have 4 losses. I think I've picked them all 4 losses. I hate the Falcons. I hate them. I hate Kirk Cousins. I've hated the Falcons. I was they're going to play the Saints, and the Saints suck, so I should pick. No, they suck. The Saints defense shows up. They were on vacation from week 2. They thought after their first 2 wins of the season, they thought they were just going to win the Super Bowl, so they took a hiatus. They've finally come back. They hold the Falcons to 17 points, one of the lowest they've had all season besides the Seattle game. They forced a crucial interception. I think it was Tyrann Mathieu who picks that ball off, and I think he got them into scoring range. Off of that, Derek Carr comes back, remembers how to play football a little bit. He goes for 269 and 2 touchdowns. Offensively, they look good. I know they just fired their head coach. This is one of those games where the new coach comes in and everybody just wants to win for the new coach, and they did that. And I don't know how. Actually, I do know how. Marquez Valdez-Scantling goes for 3 catches, 109 yards and 2 touchdowns. The guy has a Randy Moss stat line for the Saints. I don't understand how. Kirk Cousins throws another interception, and the Falcons throw up a Falcons masterpiece, really. A game that they should win. The Saints are beat up. They're not good. They're on the brink of collapsing. They have a new coach, and the Falcons go in and lose. Like, I'm done. I don't care about the Falcons anymore. I'm done picking them.
I mean, it wasn't a good look for the Falcons.
I think they're 6-4, but like
6-4. I don't think anyone else in the division has a winning record.
No.
So
the division sucks. If they were in any other division, they'd literally be like the Jets. They'd literally be the Jets. But they get the blessing of playing the Panthers twice, the Saints twice, the Bucks twice. I mean, they just lost to the Saints.
Yeah. We'll stay in the division. 49ers escape the injury-ridden Bucks. Christian McCaffrey makes his season debut. He looked decent. He had 68 receiving yards, only 39 on the ground. Didn't really get much going.
The pass he caught was a great route. I don't know if you saw that,
but Baker, I love watching Baker Mayfield now. He's a baller. Like, he'll do it with anyone. He'll fight to the end of the game until there's zeros on the clock. If Mike Evans and Chris Godwin weren't injured, I think they probably win the past 3 games that they've lost. They've lost the last 3 by a total of 12 points, and 6 of those points were a touchdown in overtime against the Chiefs. They probably don't even get there if they have Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. It's unfortunate. I mean, they're definitely still in it. Obviously, the Falcons lose. I think the Bucks are 4-6. The Falcons are 6-4. They're not like out of it by any means. But regardless, a much-needed win from the other team, the 49ers, who are they're not chasing the Cardinals, but the Cardinals are there.
they're winning.
So, yeah, they got to keep winning, the 49ers do, to stay in pace with Kyler Murray and the Cardinals.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, that one play that Baker had on that 4th down where he's stiff-arming Bosa, throwing on the run. We've said it all year. Baker's just so fun to watch. Unfortunately, they couldn't get the job done. Like you said, the 49ers, they needed that win to stay in the hunt with the Cardinals and stay ahead of Seattle and the Rams. But I agree with you. I think that if he has 2 of his best playmakers, I think they're on a bye week this week, if I'm not mistaken, and then Mike Evans is supposed to come back after that. So that's huge for them. I still think they need to fill in that hole with Godwin. Obviously, somebody's got to step up and start making plays. Yeah. But I still like them. I still like their coaching staff. And to be fair, I mean, they're 2 games behind one of the worst teams in the NFL, and they could do it. I think they could. So I'm all on the Bucks. I'm picking the Bucks every game the rest of the year, and I'm choosing against the Falcons the rest of the season. But big win for the 49ers. Yeah. McCaffrey, like I said, not much on the ground, but that one pass he caught, that route was really good. And
he looked full go. Like, he wasn't he played like every snap, I'm pretty sure. Like, he was good.
Yeah.
Good to go.
Yeah. That's good for them. Let's move on to my Steelers. Both of our teams get a win this week. Mr. Unlimited. Those for 3 touchdowns. He did have an interception, which our young receiver decided to go turn into a WWE Monday Night Raw match instead of worrying about the defender who has the interception running the opposite way. He's over here stone cold stunnering a cornerback in the background. But he's
he's one of one. There's like no other player I've seen like him.
No, he's a different breed. It's like this is George Pickens showed on TV, if you watch that game, what he's about. He's gonna make plays. He's gonna make a ridiculous catch for a touchdown that no one else in the league arguably can, and then he's also gonna fight anybody, a kid, a player, a ref. It don't matter. These hands are rated E for everybody. Okay.
Different.
He is different. Our defense, believe it or not, I'm actually proud of them. They've been great all season, but they played well. I know they gave up 27 points, but if you watch this game, we gave them a free 7 points because we faked a punt, and our gunner on the left side drops a wide open pass. It was a ballsy call, but it worked out. It was perfectly called, not perfectly executed. We give them the ball on what seemed like their own 20-yard line, or our 20. They score in 2 plays off that. Kind of a huge flip. We're up 7-0 at that point. We could have, if we drive down, if you convert a play like that, you get a lot of momentum on the road. We probably go down and score there the way our offense kind of looked that game, or even get a field goal. Even if we go up 10 or 14-0 there, that's a huge momentum swing. Instead, we drop the ball like an idiot. They go down and score. It seemed like a lot of the possessions they had this game were like right at midfield. They had a lot of short fields to work with, but we didn't let Jaden Daniels really run a lot. There were huge explosive plays that, some of the best plays they had were to Terry McLaurin, which I'll get into in a second, and that's just Terry being Terry. But again, our defense, I'm just proud of them of how they played. And I know that the game we'll talk about in a second, how it came down to, but I mean, we had a missed holding call on TJ Watt in the end zone, which should have ended the game. What? TJ Watt. That should have ended the game. We should have got the safety there and, got the ball off the punt, two points, and ended the game there. But regardless, defense played well. The Commanders, I got to give props to them. They are I've been saying it all year, but they are one of the best coached teams in the NFL. They had just as much opportunity to win that game as we did. That was a really fun AFC-NFC battle, two of the better teams in the league right now. Terry McLaurin is him. Joey Porter, I love Joey. It's as a sophomore, a cornerback, he's played really well all season, playing a lot of good wide receivers and doing holding his own. But Terry, 5 receptions, 113 yards, no touchdowns. He did keep him out of the end zone, but Terry was doing Terry things out there. I'm not gonna lie. But let's talk about a little bit of controversy about the last play. I personally think that the Commanders did get that first down. It looked like their tight end caught it over the line to gain. And then we kind of met him at the line, and that spot was terrible. I don't know what that ref was looking at. That was a bad spot. But the reason I don't really care for that and don't think it should have even really be that big of a deal is because TJ Watt got held in the end zone on that drive to start it, I believe, or the drive before, one of those two drives. So I don't think the game really should have come down to that. And we gave him a free 7 points off that punt. So I personally think we could have. And I don't really talk too highly of the Steelers. Usually, especially under Mike Tomlin, the last 10 years, it feels like. But I will say that game we should have honestly probably won by a 10-point game. We played really well. Our defense played really well in that game, and some miscues, and they got a couple of questionable defensive pass interferences on Joey Porter as well. So I overall think we had a good game, and the Commanders are a really good football team. So.
I think they are good. I just don't know. They need that next step because they have 3 losses against winning teams, and all the rest of their wins are against teams with a losing record. They beat the Bears on a Hail Mary. So I think they need if they get into the playoffs, which they probably will, it's going to be tough for them to go on the road and get a win against a good team who is a winning team, obviously.
They'd probably struggle against a Detroit or a Philly in the NFC, a more experienced team. I agree.
I just want one, they don't have one win against a team that was considered better than them throughout the season.
They could have beat us. I mean, that was they had opportunities to win that game.
Yeah, but they haven't won that game yet. So I want to see from them. I don't know what their schedule looks like, but hopefully they get an opportunity to do that.
To be honest, I think just watching that game, I think they're just a solid linebacker. I know they have Bobby Wagner as a veteran, but if they get another dominant defensive player in the front 7, I literally think if they get a pass rusher, they'll be one of the best teams in the league for the next 3-4 years.
We are Commanders. I'll move on to the Chargers. Chargers are 6-3. Kind of on the back of their defense, honestly. They've only allowed 13.1 points per game this season, which is obviously number 1 in the league, which is a complete turnaround from last season where they allowed 23.4. That's Jim Harbaugh football.
Yeah.
That's Jim Harbaugh football, baby.
That is Harbaugh.
They're chasing the Chiefs in that division, obviously, but in a really good spot for a wild card. I like this Chargers team. Justin Herbert's doing what he has to do, regardless of the situation. If he has to throw for 300, he'll throw for 300. If he has to throw for 160, he'll throw for 160, and they'll get it done on the ground. So I really they got Gus Edwards back this week, who looked pretty solid, and then obviously I have J.K. Dobbins there. So Chargers look good.
Hey, my sleeper team of the year, looking good. And they had that lull in the beginning of the year where they lost 3 or 4 or something. If they didn't really have that, they'd be an 8-2, 9-1 football team.
Yeah, I like them.
Yeah. Let's talk about one of the best laughing stocks in the NFL, the Jets. The Jets, y'all are so bad. The Jets, you guys are actually terrible. It's actually kind of funny at this point, to be honest. You guys have lost 5 of your last 6. It's already time to get off of Ashwagandha King over here. He's got to go. He's got to go. Aaron Rodgers. I mean, your whole hope for the Jets was we had this roster. We got to sign this guy. Obviously, 9 seconds into last season, he tears his Achilles. Fine. He'll get back healthy. Comes back this year. This is the year Joe Namath's going to turn in his grave at one day because this is the year, baby. It's not the year. It's not the year.
Joe Namath's dead?
No, but if he watches the Jets, he might actually die. Like, this football team is terrible. They're so bad. It's unbelievable. Like, Joe Namath is probably crying every night. Arizona's defense, they hold the Jets to 207 yards. The Jets, they have a 207 total yards, and 2 field goals. They just don't look good. Like, they just don't look good. The Cardinals, they got a cornerback, by the way, who is like shut down, lockdown. I don't know his name, but I was watching that game. That guy had play after play after play. I can't remember his name, but yeah, the Jets. I personally think it's time for y'all to move off of Aaron. I don't know what to do because this is kind of it was supposed to be a win now roster, and you guys added Adams. But Aaron Rodgers is not going to get it done. And I have now figured out that whenever there's a good Call of Duty release, because there hasn't been one in a while if you're a gamer, Kyler Murray will play a different level of football because there's a good COD out.
Good Call of Duty, good football from Kyler Murray. Bad Call of Duty, bad football from Kyler Murray.
It's a fact in life. It's a guarantee in life. Death, taxes, and Kyler Murray's to play will dictate on how good Call of Duty is that year.
All right, I like that. Yeah. The Eagles dominate the Cowboys 34-6.
This is a football team right now. I'm not gonna lie.
Cowboys kind of stink, honestly. They do. Cooper Rush was the starting quarterback for the Cowboys.
Should have been Cooper Kupp.
Cooper Kupp might have played better at quarterback for the Cowboys. The season's dead. Jerry Jones needs to sell the team. Mike McCarthy's on the hot seat. Micah Parsons calling Mike McCarthy out saying he's never worked crazy in his life.
That guy was crazy.
Won a Super Bowl. And what has Micah Parsons done on the Cowboys?
He has a podcast like us.
He has a podcast. That's it.
That's pretty good.
But Jalen Hurts throws for 2 touchdowns, runs for 2 touchdowns. The Eagles fans continuing to call for Nick Sirianni's head. And I still agree with them, honestly. They're not winning because of him. They're winning in spite of Nick Sirianni being the head coach.
I agree. It's like watching the Steelers.
Yeah. Sort of.
No, it's 100%.
But Nick Sirianni I hate that guy, dude. I just hate that guy.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
But they keep winning. I mean, beating the Cowboys is not really anything impressive, especially without Dak playing, but they win. And the Eagles keep going. I think they're first place in the
yes, with us beating the Commanders, we bumped them up. So, hey, a little bit of
played each other yet though. Have they? I think they still have 2 games against each other.
That's huge.
Towards the end of the season, which will be fun.
Yeah, a little Pennsylvania love.
They play a Thursday night this week.
Ooh.
Eagles Commanders.
That's a great game.
That's a good game.
We'll be watching.
We will.
Little Philly or little Pennsylvania love. We help them out. They help us out. We love it. We love it around there. Yeah, I don't know. Cowboys, you guys paid Dak Prescott to be the highest paid player in NFL history, and this guy sucks, and now he's not playing. So, unfortunate for y'all. The Eagles keep winning. That looks like a good football team. When they're healthy, that has to be one of the best offenses in the league and one of the roughest to prepare for. They got, as of right now, arguably like the best all-around running back in the league. And 2 just dogs on the outside. And then a quarterback who's playing really good football that nobody's really talking about. So shout out to the Eagles. Let's get into our last game because I'm not interested in talking about the Rams because they suck. Let's talk about C.J. Stroud. Okay, C.J. Stroud and the Texans. They don't win, even though they catch 4 interceptions. They did have a total of 5, but we won't even count the one at half or right before halftime. They get 4 interceptions, and C.J. Stroud in the offense does nothing with them, it seems like. This has to be the ugliest win of the season, maybe. The Lions kind of another just win. They keep winning in any way possible. The Texans are up 23-7 at halftime and get shut at in the second half. They fail to take any advantage of the turnovers that they caused in the second half from a horrible outing of Jared Goff. They go scoreless. CJ Stroud throws 2 more of his own. He's not been playing well. They've lost 3 of their last 4 games And after starting 6-1, and honestly, I'm not even going to blame D'Amico Ryans because that man can coach up a defense. His defense causes 4 turnovers in that game. Their offense doesn't do anything. I'm pretty sure there was back-to-back plays in this game with a turnover. Like Jared Goff threw it off or threw the ball. It caused an interception, and then the Texans were, here you go, right back. I can't even blame. Yeah, I can't even blame D'Amico Ryans here. Like that offense, I get like they've had some stuff they've had to deal with injuries and stuff. And I know CJ Stroud's only his second year, but that offense, I mean, you guys have a defense that has two interceptions. I think 2 of them were in scoring position for the Lions were driving, and the offense does nothing with it. Again, they fall 3 of their last 4. And I think a lot of those have been like close games. Like they had a close game against the Packers. They lost off the game-winning field goal, but they lost to the Jets in that stretch. You can't lose to the Jets. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about their offense. Just needs something. Not even personnel changes, just an identity. Like something's got to click with their.
It feels like the offensive coordinator doesn't really trust like CJ Stroud to like put the team on his back. I don't know. They rely on Joe Mixon first down run, second down run. All right, maybe we got a couple yards, but if it's still 3rd and 8, like then CJ Stroud is like he looks uncomfortable, and then I don't think that's how it like goes, and then just punt or he throws an interception or something. It's just like let CJ like give a little play action, like roll him out. Like it feels like he's just sitting in the pocket and he has nowhere to go with the football. It's just like the offense just looks like bland.
Yeah,
I guess without Nico Collins and Stephon Diggs, obviously 2 big weapons, but I mean they still got Tank Dell's a good receiver. They got Dalton Schultz, who's a good tight end.
They have Mixon, who's playing really well.
Yeah, Mixon's a good receiver. But it feels like they rely too much on Mixon, and the Lions definitely they stuff the run. That's what they're pretty good at on defense. They scored 23 points in the first half because of turnovers, but CJ Stroud just does not look great right now.
Yeah, I could tell by CJ's like reaction to the big play he had that he's like confident in his ability to move the ball and be a really good quarterback. Everybody talks about how smart he is as a quarterback, how well he can read a defense, how much he knows about the game. And I kind of agree with you. I think like you're at home and you have one of the best teams in the NFL, arguably the best play that bad of football from their quarterback who's been playing really well, and you're up by almost 3 possessions. You got to execute on offense. Like you have to. Your defense caused 4 interceptions and you guys get shut out in the second half. That's crazy. I mean, I get that the Lions are a great they're just a great team. They're going to adjust well at halftime. And again, I can't even blame the head coach. Like D'Amico calls the defense. He runs that defense. Like that defense played out of their mind against a very good Lions offense. Yeah, a CJ Stroud, like you said, they need to just get him in a more fluid offense. They just need to execute and utilize his strengths. But that's the recap of the NFL Week 10. Kind of a weird week, some upsets, some games. Like we're not even talking about the Rams. The Rams, you guys suck.
The Rams suck. The Dolphins get a big time win. They needed it. The Dolphins kind of suck too.
How do you lose to the 2-6 Dolphins at home?
Tua like tries to make a tackle on an interception. Like, what are you doing? Like, like he's trying to he almost got kneed in the head.
Like, dude, this guy's head is a magnet for just trauma.
Like, what are you doing, bro? You just came back from a concussion and you're trying to make tackles. Like
Tua playing football is like if you just leave a toddler in a room of stuff, they're like, how quickly can I kill myself?
Understand.
They're like, oh, this is something I shouldn't put in my mouth.
They got to win. Tyreek Hill has 13 yards. I don't know.
Yeah, let's go. Oh, boy, Tyreek. I didn't put money on him, so I'm shocked he played that bad. He
scored a touchdown, but he had 3 catches for 13 yards.
I still don't like Mike McDaniels at all.
Yeah.
That's our Week 10 recap.
Yeah, that's our Week 10 recap.
Let's go over our picks real quick. Let's start with the Thursday Night Football. We both get that right because we both chose. I think this was a good week for the Birds all around, except for the Falcons because they suck. Moving on, I chose. Did I choose the? I think I chose the Panthers.
I had the Giants.
I'm sorry.
It's a coin flip, honestly.
Yeah, I think I chose the Panthers, and I'm glad I did. And then we didn't talk about this game, but I just want to say to everybody that I am right about the Bears. Now, I didn't think it was going to be this bad, but I did say that they were only going to win 2 games the rest of the way, and it started with Arizona. They go back-to-back losses. They lost to the Patriots at home where they scored 3 points, it felt like.
I had the Bears in this game.
I did too. We both got it wrong.
Nice.
I don't know why I chose the Bears. I'm never.
We both had the
again.
Bills against the Colts, which was good.
How about that?
And we both had the Vikings, which almost
didn't work out at all.
It did work out.
Yeah.
Did
we both have the Chiefs
as well? Yes.
So
I wish it didn't work out, but it did.
It did,
unfortunately.
I had the Falcons, and you had the Falcons, and I'll never make that mistake ever again. I don't care if they win out. I really don't. I'm not picking them anymore. I'm not.
We both had the Niners in a closer one than we thought.
Yeah.
And then I was on the other side. I had the Commanders against your Steelers. Steelers pull it out. Both on the Chargers. Got a W there.
Yes.
I was on the Jets. You were on the Cardinals.
I did pick Arizona at home.
Nice. Good pick.
And
good pick.
I'm that Jets team is terrible.
Yeah.
I think we both picked Philly here.
Yeah.
You didn't make that mistake again of picking the Cowboys, which is good.
No.
I picked Eagles. I think we both picked Detroit.
Yeah.
Yep. So we both get that right. And then I picked the Rams because, you think like after a big win in the division and, they
getting their weapons back, getting healthier.
They beat Minnesota a couple weeks ago.
They scored a touchdown.
I mean, I heard that from their fan base that when this is a healthy team, they're contending. I don't know, maybe for the division, but not the Super Bowl. Not the Super Bowl. You lose to the 2-6 Dolphins. Get out of my face. Get out of my face. I go. What did I go? I went 11-3.
I went 8-6. It's not my best week.
I had a pretty good.
Excuse me.
I had a pretty good week. Not gonna lie.
But I'm still down only 4. A lot of ball left.
A lot of ball.
What, 7 weeks left?
Yeah, we got plenty of games. Plenty of games. And I think if you pick the Falcons, you'll at least split on those because I will never pick them again. So that moves me to 97-55, and Jason's at 93-59. Again, pretty close. We've had some swing weeks where he could come back.
Yeah, I'm gonna come back. Don't worry.
Yeah.
And you can come back in the college. You can come back in the college game.
Absolutely not.
We have 6 games to pick from this college week 11, starting with South Carolina and Vanderbilt. I was on South Carolina. You were on Vandy.
Yeah.
South Carolina gets that win.
I don't
know what. I think I watched. This was a close-ish game, right?
I don't remember.
Okay. Well, South Carolina won, and that's okay.
They did win. I'm never picking Vandy unless it's for baseball, so let's move on. We both get this one right. Thank God. God. I got so excited when you picked Ole Miss, and this is why, because that quarterback's in the slot. You are trash, buddy. We'll talk about it in a second. Ole Miss takes care of these overrated Bulldogs at home, and that was a big win. Big win for Ole Miss.
Talking about a big win, Alabama went into Death Valley and got a massive win against LSU. We were both on the right side of that one as well.
Yep, and that's the last win that I had. So Oklahoma and Missouri, they played. I picked Oklahoma, and that was wrong.
Yeah.
They lose.
They don't have an offense, unfortunately.
They don't. I figured they'd figure it out, but they didn't.
Nah. Missouri gets a dub. And then Clemson, still alive in the ACC now. That Miami lost, maybe. Virginia Tech. They beat Virginia Tech on the road. Clemson gets a win.
Yeah, I was wrong there. And Colorado, after the second week of the season, looked like they were going to win 4 games. Now they've won like 4 in a row, I think.
A big win on the road for Colorado.
They did. We both picked Texas Tech in this one. I'm shocked at how that kind of panned out. But Colorado, I mean,
they're for real.
I mean, absolutely not. But they're up there in the Big 12.
So I go 5-1. You go 2-4.
4, babe.
I'm up 11 on you, but a lot of ball left.
There's like 3 weeks left. And then we got the playoffs. We need to have like a 40 game stretch. Like
pick every game.
We're gonna pick every game on Saturday, and I'm coming back. I'm almost 500. Like, are we kidding me? I'm 35-32. That's so bad.
You're good.
I'm down 11. Oh my, even better. This is great. Let's talk about it. Let's recap week 11. We didn't even have this game as a pick'em because we were, 4 points favorites on the road at Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech, hey, buddy, y'all ain't 40 points. Hey, the Miami's back, baby. The U's back. You know what we're back to? Sucking ass. That's what we're back to. To being trash. We lose to Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech throws for an NCAA single game record of 99 yards passing. That's a new single game record, I think. They rushed for 271 yards. And we lose. We lost. This game, listen to me, everybody.
Tryouts for defense this week?
Do they have tryouts for D coordinator? I can make 6 figures and call that defense. Are you kidding me?
Show up to the tryouts. Team needs you.
Dude.
Team needs you.
D'Amico Ryans or Brian Flores. Somebody help us, please. At halftime of this game, they had 35 passing yards. 35, and they're up 14-10. Now, you would think you're the 4th team in the country. You're on the road. They aren't throwing. Their starting quarterback's shoulder is duct taped onto his body. They're probably not going to throw.
He's king.
So what do? We come out and we're in like 2 high coverages. And we're not loading the box. And we don't care to win. Because why do we care to win? Mario Cristobal, this is his kryptonite. He's now lost the last 2 games against Georgia Tech back-to-back seasons. And both of the games have been absolutely just collapses of IQ. I don't know how to explain it. They throw for 900 or 99 yards. They run for 900, it feels like. And we lose. We get the ball down at the end to win the game, maybe go drive, and Cam Ward does a little bit too much, gets sacked, fumbled. They win the game, and we fall. I think we were 4th, and now we're, 376, I think, in the top 25. So I don't even care anymore. We have Wake Forest and Syracuse remaining. So I can't even say that we're going to win those because we just lost to a quarterback who literally can't throw. So that's cool. We didn't even have this game. I haven't talked about it. We're 12th. We should be 1200th. We should be 1200th. 1200th.
Well, the ACC kind of looks, I don't know, interesting. Finishing as we go towards the end of the season. Still in first place. SMU's 8-1. They're right there.
Yeah, we're going to lose to them in the ACC championship game because they'll run for 400 yards on us. And our defensive coordinator is just going to be like, yeah, guys, you're good.
Yeah. I'll talk about Alabama.
That's a good football team. And they know how to stop the run when the other quarterback's arm is falling off his body.
They do. Jalen Milroe and Alabama go into the Bayou, dominate LSU.
They did.
But not with his arm. Not with his arm at all.
I think dude's a running back.
He runs for 185 yards.
That dude's a running back.
4 rushing touchdowns.
That dude is a running back.
He's a running back. Alabama's defense also shows up on the road, only allows 13 points. They pick off Garrett Nussmeier 2 times.
Lights are too bright again.
This might be the most complete game we've seen from Alabama all season. Both offense and defense were clicking at the right times. LSU, we've been kind of saying it. They've been in a lot of breakdowns this season. They've been pretty fraudulent all season. And the SEC is kind of getting a little nutty as we move towards the college football playoff. And LSU's done. Alabama back into the mix, obviously, here.
Yeah. I mean, we said that both, like, this game and the next game we were talking about was kind of must-wins, I feel like. And LSU, I just think Garrett, like, when the lights are bright, man, it's Kirk Cochains-esque. You know, sometimes they get a little too bright and you play terrible. Luckily for Alabama, like you said, this was the most complete game they've definitely played. I agree. As far as like per competition, you know, they probably had a complete game against some other team that's not as good. But the best thing about Alabama is they had the opportunity to play an LSU team that had some big wins, like the Ole Miss game that they squeak out. So they were higher ranked than they probably should have been. Then they go on the road and dominate them. And they had the head-to-head win against Georgia. That's huge for Bama. Moving forward, I don't know their last 2 games, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say they're not anywhere close to who they've played all season in Georgia. And now, you know, LSU and Vanderbilt, even when they weren't, you know, they're still a good football team. So, huge win for Alabama. I think, like we said last week, it kind of came down to Milroe and that coaching staff both overperform, in my opinion, on what they've shown all season, especially the coaching staff. That defense, like you said, came out prepared. And on the road to play like that, I mean, we talked about LSU's venue is one of the hardest places to play, and they come out and they dominate, and they need to look like that the rest of the way. They play like if Milroe plays how he can play, this is a good football team. They just seem to be undercoached sometimes and over, emotionally driven, not buttoned up, but they buttoned up
they didn't
on
beat
Saturday.
Themselves. And
Yeah,
that's how they win. Like if they don't have stupid penalties and make normal plays, like they win by a lot. They don't beat themselves, they'll win.
Yeah. Let's talk about a team that should have lost probably every game of the season. Carson Beck should be put in prison along with Daniel Jones and Dak Prescott because this guy has a $1.9 million NIL deal with Chipotle. I'm never eating at Chipotle again since they want to endorse this idiot. They've lost a long life customer for me. I'm never going back.
That's some NIL money.
I could literally go out there and do what he's doing. I could do it for $1.9 million from Chipotle, but I'm done eating that dog crap restaurant.
Probably sounds good.
Not anymore. They endorsed a literal moron. In his last 6 games, this moron has 10 touchdowns to 12 interceptions, and I could possibly guarantee, if I would have my life savings on it, that in those 6 games, he has to be leading the country in dropped interceptions because this man throws the ball to the opposing team more than anybody I've ever seen. He has a 65 completion percentage in those games, and they just suck. They suck. And Georgia, by the way, they turned the ball over 3 times, and unlike some of the other games they've played where they've done that, they actually played a team that capitalized on those turnovers. Ole Miss did that. They didn't play their greatest game. Jackson Dart didn't have a huge day as far as yards. I think he threw a touchdown and threw an interception. But they did enough to win. They win comfortably. They win like 28-10. And that defense, man, like we talked about, that D-line gave them problems all afternoon. They didn't really give up too many big plays, and Carson Beck had a nice little Carson Beck afternoon. He plays like shit, goes to the sideline, he's all smiles. I hope that Lambo gets impounded and then crushed in the car crusher. With him not inside it, because that's crazy, but like watching it.
Is this Georgia? No, I think I'll ask you that later. I think I have a question.
Okay. I hope is Georgia losing out, because that's an underreaction.
Let's look at the new top 25.
Let's do that.
We covered that game pretty well. I don't need to comment on that one.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the first 4, because we do that. We start now. By the way, we're going to implement something new on Thursday's episode for the next remaining 3 weeks, I think, until the playoffs start for college football. Because every Tuesday night, tonight, actually, in about an hour and a half, they're going to air the college football playoff ranking. They did the first week last week. We didn't really talk about it too much, but this week we will break it down and bracket play. Who's the first round buys? Who's going to sneak in? And they're going to give us a little temperature gauge on that. But let's break down the AP top 25, which we have here. Let's talk about the first 4 teams, because I agree with all of these except for one, and I think you're going to agree with me. What the hell is Penn State doing back in the top 4? They beat Washington.
Beat Washington?
They beat Washington. They kind of.
Congrats.
Yeah, boy. Well, I mean, are we
10th in the country?
Did people understand that the one possession game they had against Ohio State is the most fraudulent box score? Did anybody watch that game? They didn't even do anything in that game. They were controlled from start to finish in that game. Line of scrimmage, play calling, coaching, everything. They got dominated. Why are they 4th? Because they had a one possession game against Ohio State?
They also had like a one possession game against Bowling Green. So why are they there?
Somehow you're 4th. The other 3 I agree with.
Ohio State, Texas, Penn State.
Texas back at the top of the SEC.
Yep, they're back. They're back with a big time win against Florida. They dominated that game.
Not shocked.
Yeah. 5 through 12, looking at it.
This is actually awesome.
Indiana is 5th in the country.
Dude, that is a football team.
That is a football team.
They got to be the most fun watch. They did kind of squeak that game out against Michigan. Michigan actually played well. That defense played out of their mind against that Indiana offense. I will say that. That was the first game I think Indiana's like been within like one possession of a game, I think. So impressive for Michigan, honestly, on the road. That was very impressive.
And then what else do we have? Sorry, Tennessee's at 6. They're 8-1. Big
BYU.
Big matchup against Georgia this week. Tennessee, Georgia.
I think I'm going to that game, actually.
That's lit.
Yes.
That is dope.
BYU at 7, top of the Big 12 right now. Undefeated still. I don't think they played. I don't recall. Let me pull that
up. No, they beat you. That was Utah. That was last week.
Last week. Okay, so they're on a bye, but they move up again. Kind of a sleeper team, I feel like a bit.
Still undefeated.
Notre
Dame.
There's a weird gap between BYU and Alabama. So let's talk about Alabama. And they move up 2 spots. Big win, We're only talking about teams that actually will contend for anything meaningful. So Alabama moves up 2 spots. They're number 9. Huge win on the road. I'm actually surprised they didn't get bumped up to be fair, if Alabama played a BYU or who's Notre Dame, whoever that is, they probably beat them too. So I'm shocked that Alabama is only at 9. I know they have 2 losses, but still.
No, I agree. They are the highest ranked 2-loss team on the list right now.
I think just because, again, they have the head-to-head against Georgia, and then, they just dismantled LSU. So
then Ole Miss right there at 8-2.
Big win. 6 spots.
If their 2 losses, probably shouldn't have happened. Honestly, they could have won both of those games easily.
I still think I'll give them the 1 loss to Kentucky because Kentucky played really well in that game. But the loss to LSU, this team should be 9-1, and they should be 6th or 7th.
Yeah, I agree. And Georgia drops 9 spots from.
It's not enough.
Were they 2nd in the country?
They were 2nd, yeah, or 2nd or 3rd.
And they dropped to 11th. Big game against Tennessee, like you said. You're going to that game. You'll be in all orange, I'm assuming.
I'm painting my whole self. I'm actually on the sideline. I'm being a mascot.
And then your Miami Hurricanes round
out
top 12.
Here we had the ACC wrapped up in a nice little bow, and we let Georgia Tech run the ball for 900 yards.
Drop 8 spots.
Unbelievable. Most of the 5 through 12 I agree with. Again, Bama, Ole Miss, huge games. Tennessee, they got a big game coming up. I think Indiana has to be smooth sailing the rest of the way, if I'm not mistaken. Let's look up their list. Ooh.
This week. Or no, that's in
next week.
Actually.
So they got Ohio State off a bye. That's the biggest game in program history, maybe.
Yeah.
That's huge. Georgia, Miami.
Prepare. That should be a banger of a game.
That's probably going to be matchup of the week if I had to guess. Georgia, Miami falling 9 and 8 spots. Rightfully so. We didn't look good. They didn't look good. Boise State falls. I don't think they played. No, they did, actually, if I'm not mistaken. Did they play?
They beat Nevada.
Yeah.
I think they fall because Ole Miss goes up, I believe.
Yeah, Ole Miss and Bama jumping and us moving down spots. But, as far as the 1 through 12 right there, I agree with in mostly I agree with.
And then looking outside the top 12 – or SMU's right there in the ACC. Could be in the ACC championship against the Canes. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll probably give up 50 points. I'm down.
Army at 16, still 9-0.
Struggled.
They played Notre Dame.
Oh, they'll win. They struggled against North Texas.
Yeah.
14-3. Not great.
But North Texas does score 60 points a game, and they gave up 3 points to them, which is pretty good.
Yeah. Clemson.
It'd be kind of cool to see them beat Notre Dame. I'm not gonna lie, that'd be sweet.
That's the lock of the week. Clemson moves up 2 spots. I don't really know. I guess if SMU and us win out, I don't think there's a shot for Clemson for the ACC, but Colorado is 7-2. Colorado's 7-2 somehow in the Big 12. Kind of wild.
I think their path is like they don't have any really ranked teams on their schedule.
I mean, they really haven't played anybody all year, but
I mean,
they have Utah, Kansas State Prison. They got Utah at home, at Kansas, and then Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
So looks like they're probably not going to win or lose a game.
And maybe BYU and Colorado Big 12 championship.
For the amount of money that team would bring in, they're probably making it to the Big 12 championship. That coverage would just alone fund the next season for them. So overall,
looking out, South Carolina is back in the top, or not back in. I don't know if they've been in it all season.
It's got to be one of the best 3-loss teams in the country. Like
Tulane rounding out the top 25 at 8-2.
Okay, Tulane. Come on
Green
now.
Wave, baby.
Come on now. LSU falls 7 spots.
Yeah,
thank God.
3 losses. They're out of it.
Yeah.
But overall, I like it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Miami, I don't know. I mean, that was such an unfortunate loss. We have a very good chance to win out with Wake Forest and Syracuse, but I just don't like our defense, man. Our defense has shown that they're just not going to – I don't think we're going to win a meaningful game. So we'll see. But I like that one.
You could win the ACC, but when you play like an SEC team in the college football playoff, or
when we play like a team that can move the ball, if we like say God forbid we get matched up with like an Oregon, brother, Cam Ward's his arm's gonna fall off.
I mean, Oregon has a good defense too.
Yeah, I don't really think our offense is gonna struggle honestly with anybody. I know we didn't play great on the road against Georgia Tech, but I mean they had the ball for 50 minutes. Because they ran it for 300 yards. So kind of hard to move the ball in offense when you don't have it.
That's true.
But overall, top 12, still all the teams that you would kind of expect. We'll see how tonight goes with the college football rankings. That's kind of interesting. I'm excited for that. But that's our top 25 for week 11. Again, a lot of big games. We got 2 weeks left. A lot of things are going to be changing. A lot of must wins. We got a must win with Tennessee, I think, and Georgia's season on the line. Maybe we'll see. Let's move on though.
Yeah, let's go to our last segment of the day. As always on Tuesdays, over under reactions. You can start it off.
Yeah, let's start it off with the Vikings. Jason, let's break it down. Is the Vikings miracle run done? I'm gonna give you their remaining schedule. And you let me know. They have at Tennessee, should be a win, but we just saw them almost lose to the Jaguars, so who knows. At Chicago not great, but it is a division game. Then they host the Cardinals. They're not messing around. Kyler Murray is on a disgusting grind with a good COD. Then they play the Falcons, who likely could score 80 points a game or go for a total of 80 yards in that game. Who knows? They have the Bears at home after that. Then they go to Seattle. Then they have 2 division games to end the season. They host the Packers, and then they go at Detroit. So, with all that being said, is this miracle run kind of done?
That's a hard – I mean, the way they looked against the Jags, I'm not giving them, like, any wins, like, at all. Like, just that's a win for them. Like, they have to battle. Like, Sam Darnold – it's all up to Sam Darnold, honestly. That's what it looks like. If he doesn't turn the ball over, he takes care of it. They win. And if their defense is okay, their defense is good. They played well against Mac Jones, I guess, which is
they
fine.
did their job.
So it really relies on Sam Darnold and how he plays and how if he doesn't turn the ball over, they look pretty solid. Is their run done? I don't think they're done. They can definitely make. I don't think they're going to win the division. But
it's going to be hard to catch Detroit.
Yeah. And then the Packers, they probably get a wild card spot if they don't catch Detroit. I mean, their Cinderella run that they had through the first 6 weeks, that's done for sure. But I don't think they're done as in, like, they're not going to make the playoffs.
Okay. They do have the head-to-head right now against Green Bay, the first game that they played. So,
all right. Well, we can talk about your favorite team
Can't wait.
They have 2 losses. Georgia has 2
Should have
losses
7
on the season. They have, I believe, they have the strongest schedule in the country. Georgia does. They have the toughest schedule. Could they still have 3 losses if they lose to Tennessee and make the playoff? Or do they have to beat Tennessee this week to make it?
I think so. They have Tennessee, and then they finished with Massachusetts, and then Georgia Tech. I think just for the sake of they lost to Bama already, and Bama after this week, I don't see them losing again. I think, I think this is a underreaction. I think they need to beat Tennessee to be. I don't think they're going to be able to lose to Tennessee and make the playoff. And with that being said, I don't even I'm not even confident that they will win this game with how they've looked all season, especially obviously Carson Beck. But yes, to make the playoff, this is literally their season on the line, because the remaining games they have is not if they were playing like a Texas or something at the end of the season now, it maybe could help them. But I mean, they're not going to get it done in the hope for the remaining 2 games if they lose to Tennessee to get them over the hump. So they need to win. This is literally their season on the line.
I agree.
Let's move on. And your dogs are excited for this question.
They are. Dogs.
Does Jalen Hurts, kind of a quiet season, the Eagles improved to 7-2, I think. Yeah. Does he belong in the MVP convo? A lot of guys, Lamar, Jared Goff, about 56 hours ago was in that conversation.
Yeah. A lot of guys ended it, their convo probably. Lamar extended it.
Right. Jared Goff had a good game. I think Burrow should be in this conversation too. I know, he's not winning, but if you take Burrow off the Bengals, they might not win a game.
Yeah.
So, but does Jalen Hurts leading this Eagles team, does he belong in the MVP combo?
I think he's right outside of it. I wouldn't say he's it's crazy to say, but I don't think he's in the top. He's probably 4th or 5th, I think, in line, I would say. He's right there. If he has finishes really strong, doesn't turn the ball too much, turn over the ball too much to end the season. There's a lot of football to be played left. Obviously, there's 8 more weeks of football to be played. He could definitely be there at the end of the season. I'd say that's an underreaction.
Okay.
Or underreaction.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about the Panthers, one of the most exciting teams in the NFL here. Bryce Young kind of sat, they benched Bryce Young for Andy Dalton for a few games after a bad start, comes back, gets a few wins, starts to look good. Do the Panthers still believe in Bryce Young? Should they still believe in Bryce Young? Will he be their quarterback starting next season?
I think this is a overreaction. And the only reason I say that is because when you watch Bryce play, the only person you can kind of compare his size to at quarterback is Kyler. But Kyler is able to do a lot of things with especially extending the play or running that it just doesn't look like Bryce Young has NFL speed to do that. That's the one thing that bothers me is he's not. So his size, usually when you get into shorter guys like that or at quarterback, even like a Russell Wilson kind of, it's either you get like a Drew Brees who is just lasering down the field in the pocket and just a lethal gunslinger, or you get a Russell Wilson or a Kyler Murray or some type of quarterback like that where they are able to do things that prevent them from looking like they don't have NFL speed. I don't think Bryce Young as an athlete is just good enough. And for him to succeed, we've talked about it early in the season, I just think he needs to be in a situation like a Sam Darnold or a Russell Wilson with our defense and players like that. It's not even that I don't think he's bad. I just don't think he has NFL game speed, especially with his size. And obviously not a great offensive line. He has to make plays like that, but I just don't think he has the capabilities of doing it. So I think this is a bit of an overreaction. I think they just need to go a different direction. I think that they need to find something that, they don't have a team to win, so it's not like they need a Sam Darnold or a Russell Wilson type of plug-in. or like what the Jets thought they were going to get, something like that. But I just don't think Bryce Young is going to be a Lamar, a Allen, or Burrow, where it's just like
he's not going to carry the team,
right.
Sure.
So I don't think if he starts next year, it's going to be much different than what they are this year. Like I don't think he has that capability.
Fair.
Let's move on to the Colorado Buffaloes. We haven't really talked about them too much. We started the year
quietly just winning.
They've been quietly winning. I don't know why. I mean, they suck. But does Colorado win the Big 12? I think they're like 8-1 right now in the Big 12. Yeah. They're just behind BYU.
I mean, this is an underreaction. They have a clear path to the championship. They just have to win it. And any given Saturday, they could show up and win the Big 12 against BYU. I think they can do it. Will they? I don't know. BYU is a good football team. And I wouldn't look past the rest of their schedule. It feels like Colorado could just come out and just lay an egg, like from what I've seen from them. But I don't know if they will. They've played their best competition so far this season. So we'll see. I think it's an underreaction.
I think you're wrong, but it's fine.
All right, that's fair. The Lions. Let me read the rest of their remaining schedule here because it's
probably rough, right?
Well, they have the Jags this week.
All right, that's a free win.
Then they go to the Colts.
Another win.
Then they play the Bears at home.
Easy win.
Then they play the Packers.
In Detroit?
No, at home. That's on Thursday night primetime as well. It's a good. It's a toss.
It's a toss up.
Yeah. Then they have the Bills at home, which is a good game as well.
That's a banger of a game.
Yeah.
At home, I'll give them that just because it's at home.
Then they go to the Bears.
Oh my gosh, yeah, they're winning by 3.
Win. Then they go to the 49ers, which is a tough game.
Ooh.
Monday Night Football. Go to the 49ers. That's kind of a banger.
That might be the NFC Championship preview.
It might be.
Especially if the 49ers are healthy and rolling. If they win off, the next 4.
Week 17 for the 49ers. They'll be ready to go.
I don't think they win that.
Yeah, and then they finish with Minnesota at home.
So the question is, will they finish 16-1?
Yeah,
is the question.
Will they go, obviously, will they win out the rest of the season? They definitely could.
I was just about to say it's crazy because they have the capability, coaching staff, and roster to do it. And of all the coaches in the NFL, not even Andy Reid, I believe in this guy to do it.
Yeah,
sure. But I just think some of those games are too much at 49ers. And honestly, like the Buffalo game, like that's an easy, great team coming into town. And then I wouldn't be shocked if they split with the Packers. Those teams know each other well. Two good football teams. So as much as I would love to see it, I just think it's an underreaction.
Yeah.
But I would love to see it, though. I'd be all for it. I just think that's too much of a schedule.
Yeah. All right. That's the episode.
That's the episode.
That's a weekend football recap. And it was a banger.
Honestly, it's a good week. Some lulls in the NFL. It's okay. We got some big college football games coming up. The next 2 weeks are huge.
We have 2 big matchups in the NFL this week as well. It's Ravens-Steelers week.
It is rivalry week.
It is. Bills play the Chiefs.
We might have a couple game of the weeks this week. Matchup of the weeks. It is Ravens week, baby.
It's Steelers week.
This has to be 2 of the best records we've had of meeting each other in a while.
In a while.
I mean, you guys are usually good in the regular season. We obviously haven't had a losing season, but some of those regular seasons haven't been great record-wise. But this is definitely one of the better
decent matchups this week
for NFL and college.
I mean, Bengals Chargers.
That's a banger.
Monday night or Sunday Night Football is decent.
That's a banger. That's 2 great quarterbacks.
Seattle goes to San Francisco after a bye. Maybe they figure it out a little bit.
Is that a must-win for Seattle?
I think it is. I mean, yeah. It's kind of a must-win for both teams.
Yeah.
Because Arizona's on a bye this week, so
that kind of helps them
lose or win. But yeah, good week of football. I
might be going to a Georgia game.
Yeah,
Georgia Tennessee. That's a banger. I I might record some of that. Maybe bring a little morning wood vlog to the game. That'll be fun. Yeah. Next episode, we'll have the college football again playoff rankings that comes out in about an hour, a little over an hour. So excited to see that. Excited to see Miami be, not even in bowl contention. So that's super fun. Yeah, that's the episode.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys watching. As always, hit the subscribe button if you're new. If you made it all the way through, we appreciate you watching all this. We really do. We really, really do. Hit that like button. Comment. Something. Just say hi to me. But we appreciate you guys for watching. We'll see you in 2 days on Thursday. We appreciate you.
We got a banger on Thursday night.
We do. Eagles, Commanders.
Two NFC.
Break that down a little bit. Why not?
Oh, yeah, we're going to break that down. We might have 3 matchups of the week this week.
It's football season.
All right, guys. We appreciate you. Deuces.
Bye.